All right. So, uh, episode 5 was definitely a lot better, but the inconsistencies were driving me nuts. Well, one big one. So, we start off in the middle of the fight. And actually, we only see parts of it because we see from Osha's perspective waking up after being pushed into the forest by what we find out later is Chimere. And so she's just trying to figure out what's happening, looking around like she always does. And then she comes upon the fight. And the two people who end up dying are two extras. You know, this is their Star Wars equivalent red shirts. You know, people we've never seen before, so they die quite quickly. And then we see May being attacked by Jackie. Now, why the holy hell? Now, I realize May hates the Jedi with a fiery passion. But still, she said to herself, to Chimere, that if she turns herself in and tells what she knows, that the Jedi will, not put her in jail. So, why is it that she didn't open her mouth when fighting Jackie? Why didn't she just say, no, I did not kill Kilnaka. He was dead when I got here. And you see, my master is here, so he probably is the one who killed him. I mean, that was such a simple out. But no, they fight. And then, as that's going on, we see Master Soul and Chimere fighting. And Chimere makes it sound as if that he was his Padawan or that he knew him from before. And if that were true, he would have recognized Chimere when they met him, when they were searching for May in the first place. But he didn't recognize him. So, what beef does he have with him? So they fight, and then there ends up being a 2-on-1 between Jackie, Master Soul, and Chimere. And, Osha's trying to convince Yord that they need to turn back. And Yord's like, don't make me restrain you. Which makes me wonder, how, well, she's been out of practice for years, so no. Yeah, Yord could easily restrain her. So, she tells Yord, and this is another inconsistency, or the fact that Yord has the memory of a goldfish. Because she tells him to turn off his lightsabers because of those creatures. And he's like, why? Dude, it was last episode. It wasn't that long ago. So, as Osha and Yord, Osha has a plan. So she uses her light to wake up these creatures, and Yord follows her. And the creatures have such impeccable timing. Because first, Jackie and Master Soul, like I said, are double teaming Chimere. And I thought that they were going to, even though he lost his helmet, they would constantly hide his face so we never saw it. Or that the characters would see him, but we wouldn't. But no, they quickly showed his face. And, he then kills Jackie. which just sets off Master Soul. And Chimera would be saying things like, "Oh, you attacked me." Basically showing him that he's the not the person that he's pretending to be. Like, Jedi don't attack first and blah blah blah. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is still the fight that you guys were having previously from when you attacked him the first time. It's not like he just decided to attack some random person. No, you attacked him first. He's just continuing. So he's starting to make Master Soul feel bad. And so Yord and Osha finally show up, and Yord is able to briefly get the upper hand, only to have his neck broken by Chimera. And at this point, they see that May is no longer wanting to be with the Master. But Osha shoots her anyway. Now, granted, she did kill people, so I get it. But, again, why assume that she's the one who killed Kelnaka when you see what looks like her master right there? And now this seems to be the rise of the Sith, because Soul didn't know that he was a Sith. He's like, "What are you? You can call me Sith." As if that's the first time anyone's ever heard that term. So, what now? Especially considering what happened in, I think it was The Phantom Menace. So, yeah. And they were really trying hard to make Chimera like Darth Vader. I don't mean just with the black, but also with the heavy breathing. They were simulating Darth Vader. And which annoyed me, because there's only one Darth Vader. And, Chimera's obviously a very talented Force user, but you're no Darth Vader. So that kind of annoyed me. So, Osha convinces Soul not to kill Chimera, because, that's not the Jedi way. So he gets knocked out, though, for his trouble. And Osha and May have what May was hoping was a heart-to-heart. So she talks with Osha, and Osha's telling her about what happened, that she started the fire, blah, 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 blah. The same thing that she believed from the very beginning. And May's like, "You've been brainwashed." Even Chimera said, "Don't trust Soul, because I was there." So is Chimera also a survivor from that witch's coven? But that would mean he was, unless he isn't actually human, in which case I guess he didn't have to be as young as May and Osha, because they were the only children there. So was he already a full-blown Sith? And he just happened to be searching for that planet and searching for that coven? Which makes me wonder if he had something to do with all that death. But he's making it sound like there's something that Soul is hiding. And Soul keeps saying, last episode, this episode a couple times, "I'll tell you when we get back." So it's like, when are you going to tell? So May and Osha have a talking to. Osha tries to turn her in. May is of course stronger than her, was able to stop her, and knocks her unconscious. And so then we see the great switcheroo. The only reason why you would have twins in a story is I'm going to pretend to be my twin. Which she comes to see Soul, and he's like, where is she? Who? Your sister. It's like, what other she is there? May. Even though you are pretending to be Osha. It's pretty obvious who he's talking about. But, maybe she wanted to see if he would figure out that she's actually May and not Osha by him saying her name. But, which, considering he went into her mind so easily when they fought the first time, I'm surprised he didn't actually do that. But the tracker is still around. And, what is he, Basil? And he rescues Pip as Chimera is finally able to rescue himself from the creatures. And so he gets back on board right after Soul and May Osha. So is Soul going to figure it out, or is Basil going to say, dude, that's not Osha? Because we do know from last episode that Yord understands him. I just don't know if Soul understands Basil. So, I assume that Saul is going to come clean to May about what happened. Now, whether she's going to take that opportunity to kill him, or, as what I saw rumored from, say, Charlie, Emergency Awesome, that he's going to notice her tattoo, or lack of tattoo, on her arm, and come to the realization that this is May. Same thing with Chimera. He doesn't seem to know that isn't May, that is Osha. So the question becomes, at what point is Chimera going to figure it out? Because I don't know if Osha's just going to play along. She's like, oh, well, May wants me to pretend to be her? Fine. Of course, the last time she confronted Chimera, she did it very badly, so I would think she wouldn't try to pretend to be her sister again, because that's just not going to end well. So, and every time, whenever May was talking about, oh, Saul's brainwashed you, I'm doing this for us and our family, blah, 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 I was waiting for flashbacks, or the episode will end and the next episode will have flashbacks. But no, it ended with the great switcheroo. And like I said, I wonder how long this will take. Because Saul is the only one who heard Chimera say the word Sith. And it sounds like he's never heard of Sith. And Chimera is acting like he's the very first Sith. So, I don't know if the Jedi Council doesn't find out because Soul ends up dead before he gets to Coruscant. Or he just doesn't tell them because he's never heard of a Sith, so he never thought that it was worth mentioning that the bad guy is a Sith. Who knows? But, yeah, yeah. If either, I realize they're trying to parallel what happened with Darth Vader, but, you know, it would make more sense that Chimera has history with Soul if Soul didn't already see him and not recognize him. Because I just don't see how there could be a connection there. Um, let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, I skipped over all the fight because even though there were parts that were cool, especially the one-on-one Soul and Chimera, and the two-on-one Jackie and Soul and Chimera, and actually Jackie and May. Um, I expected, to see more of the fight of all the Jedi versus Chimera. But no, they did it very much in Osha's perspective, which I guess this whole show is supposed to be from her vantage point. I am, as much as a dick as Yord had been for most of the show, I'm actually sad though at how quickly he died. But given what the Jedi Council knows of the Sith, you knew that they could not, none of these people can survive because none of these people can go back and warn the Jedi about the Sith because that would render what was said in the Phantom Menace to moot. That the Sith haven't been around for 1,000 years. So yeah. Yeah, obviously Soul can, either he doesn't survive, or he just simply doesn't make it to Coruscant for one reason or the other. Or maybe Chimera manages to turn him. Because he has a lot of rage. And he did try to attack an unarmed opponent. Now, I put that in quotes because, dude, he's a Force user. He's a good Force user. So, are you really unarmed? I mean, that's like claiming that Mike Tyson without weapons is unarmed. Dude, the man is a boxer. Are you sure he's unarmed? So, same thing here. He's a Force user, and a really good one at that. So, is he really unarmed even though he doesn't have a lightsaber? So, but yeah, they're really trying to. Now, obviously, something happened 16 years ago, and I would love to know what it is because of what we know, Torben was the only one who accepted it. But he only took a vow of silence like 10 years ago. So 6 years after it happened. So either he too was unaware of what truly happened, or the guild just finally caught up to him. Nobody else seems to. Well, Kelnaka was living alone. Now, whether that's because of guilt from what happened 16 years ago, or for another reason. Unfortunately, we saw very little of Kelnaka, so we have no idea. So all we know is what Master Soul knows. So hopefully, this was episode 5. There are 3 episodes left. So hopefully, at some point, we will find out what the frick happened 16 years ago. Because this is getting annoying. The drawn out, oh, I'm going to tell you, and then something happens that takes their attention away so they can't continue. It's like, come on, guys. At least give a morsel. Like, start to say something or give one little tidbit. Even if you don't finish it, at least something. But at this point, it's like, fine, don't tell us. It's like, do you guys even know what happened 16 years ago? Let's see if there's anything else. So next episode is probably going to be OSHA, trying to snow Saul, which, she walks differently than OSHA. She carries herself differently. She talks differently. So, how are you not noticing that this is not OSHA? Of course, he woke up rather confuddled, so that could be the reason for immediate. But how long before he realizes that she's not OSHA? And like I said, maybe it's that tattoo thing. This finding out that OSHA has a tattoo and that Saul doesn't seem to like it. That there's got to be something to that. Maybe that wasn't just a throwaway line, but that's how he's going to find out that this is actually May. Or, it's entirely possible that Basil will inform him, and that's when he will try to catch her when this arm is bare, and he'll see whether she has that tattoo, and that'll cinch it that is truly not OSHA. Of course, OSHA has a much more dangerous, much harder problem, which is she's not trying to pretend to be May, and if the first time is any indication, she sucks at it. But who knows? Maybe that was a misdirect the last time, and maybe she'll do a great performance this time. Because her life is kind of on the line, and there's nobody within Voice's reach to save her. And there might be some either flashbacks next episode or the episode after that, because at some point we either get from May's perspective or we get it from Saul's perspective. But at some point, we have got to find out what happens. Whether it be through words, through flashbacks, something. Because this is, like I said, getting annoying. That this is the second episode in a row that he's tried to start and then couldn't. Or, I'll tell you later. It's like, just start telling her now. I believe that is all I have for this episode. Yeah, this is pretty much all I have for this episode, and with that, I will see you guys in the next video.